Hey, what's going on, y'all? Welcome back to a new video. Today we're learning about the 8th Ecumenical Council of Constantinople IV. In the 9th century, the church wasn't fighting a heresy about Jesus or the Trinity. It was actually fighting over authority and who had the right to lead the church. This is the story of the Fourth Council of Constantinople, held in 869 to 870 AD. A council that defended apostolic order and reaffirmed the faith of the fathers and drew a clear line between church and the state. So by the end of this video, you will understand exactly what this council taught and why it was called and why Catholics call it the 8th Ecumenical Council. So picture this: the Byzantine Empire is under Emperor Basil I, and the Patriarch of Constantinople is Ignatius, who is a holy and respected person, but he clashes with the emperor. So the emperor actually forces Ignatius to resign and replaces him with a brilliant layman named Photius, and who became a patriarch in just 6 days, skipping every single rank of holy orders. That broke the canonical order of the church. Rome, under Pope Nicholas I, steps in and says, "This is invalid. Restored Ignatius." Constantinople refuses. When Emperor Basil I comes to power, he wants unity with both the empire and the church. So he calls a council to settle the dispute once and for all. That's how we get the Council of Constantinople, held in 869 to 870 AD. So here's where it gets interesting. There were 4 important councils connected to this controversy. So the first council was held in 861 AD by local Constantinople bishops who were trying to justify Pontus' sudden rise, but Rome rejected it, reaffirming Ignatius as patriarch. And then the second council, held in 867, called by Pontus himself, he condemns the Pope Nicholas I and Rome, accusing them, the West, of heresy over the Filioque. And the Filioque is about the Holy Spirit proceeds from the Father and the Son, which is the relationship in the Trinity. And the third council, held in 869 to 870 AD, this is the one that we held by Catholics, called by Emperor Basil I. This council condemns Pontus and restores Ignatius and affirms Papal authority. Catholics recognize this as the 8th Ecumenical Council. And this is where it gets interesting. Council 4, in the Fourth Council, held in 879 through 880, after Ignatius dies, the East restores Pontus and rejects the 869 through 870 council. So the Eastern Orthodox Church recognized this as their 8th Ecumenical Council. So this wasn't just one-time event, it was a tug of war between the East and the West over authority, doctrine, and church order. I'm just realized editing this video, I pronounced Photius wrong. I've been saying Pontus in the video, so forgive me when I butcher it every single sentence. It is Photius, not Pontus. Now let's look at who showed up to the 869 through 870 council, the one that's held by all Catholics, and what they decided on. The council met inside the Hagia Sophia, one of the most famous churches in history. Over 100 bishops attended, along with 3 papal legates sent by Pope Adrian II. Their mission was pretty simple but serious: to settle a dispute and restore order, and determine who the true patriarch really was. Was it Ignatius or was it Pontus? And the verdict was Pontus was condemned and deposed. Ignatius was finally restored, and the authority of the Roman See was reaffirmed. So what this council taught was that the faith of the fathers. First, this council reaffirmed the Nicene Creed. It said clearly, "We stand with the faith of Nicaea, which is held in 325 AD, and Constantinople, which is held in 381 AD. It condemned all heresies like Arianism, Nestorianism, and Monophysitism, proving that this council wasn't inventing a new idea, it was protecting the truth, the ancient faith. Second, and this is huge, the council declared that the Apostolic See of Rome holds the highest authority in the church. They quoted what's called the Libellus of Pope Hormisdas, saying, "The judgment of the Apostolic See is to be preferred to all others. So let's look at Canon 21, and it says that anyone who refuses communion with the Roman See or rejects its authority is to be excommunicated. This is one of the reasons why Catholics recognize this as an ecumenical council. It was confirmed and presided over by the Pope through his legates. Let's look at Canon 12. Canon 12 of this council was bold. It said no lay person, not even the emperor, can appoint bishops. Only the church through proper canonical elections can do that. So at this time, this was revolutionary. The council was drawing a boundary. The state doesn't rule the church, which is crazy. This canon anticipated future power struggles where popes and emperors would clash over control of the church. The council formally condemned and excommunicated Pontius. His writings were burned, and anyone he had ordained without proper authority was declared invalid. So in short, they pretty much erased the parallel of hierarchy that had grown under Pontius. And lastly, the council reaffirmed the teachings of the Second Council of Nicaea held in 787 AD, which was defending the veneration of icons. Icons, it said, are not idols, but sacred windows pointing us to the divine. So Constantinople IV protected both the faith and the worship of the church. The Fourth Council of Constantinople wasn't about defending a new dogma. It was actually defending about church order. It teaches that the truth and unity in the church flow through apostolic succession, safeguarding by canonical order and communion with the See of Peter. It made it clear the Pope confirms what's ecumenical. The church governs herself, free from political interference, and it shows unity with Rome and is a sign of true Catholicity. Oh boy, but here's where it gets interesting. So the Catholic Church accepts this council, the one in 869 through 870, one as the 8th Ecumenical Council. So the one I just spoke to you is the one that Catholics accept. But the Eastern Orthodox Church, though, rejects this one flat out, y'all. Instead, they recognize the later council in 879 through 880 council, which restored Pontius and canceled this one. So depending on who you ask, Catholics see the 869 through 870 as the true council. So and Orthodox see the 879 through 880 as the real one. This disagreement planted one of the early seeds of the Great Schism that would fully divide the East and the West in 1054. So what's the overall legacy of this Fourth Council of Constantinople? It defended the rightful structure of the church, bishops in communion with Rome. It protected the freedom of the church from political domination, and it upheld the faith of the fathers without adding or taking away from it. So in the end, Constantinople IV reminds us that unity is not just agreement, it's communion through apostolic authority. And that's what has preserved the church structure from the time of the apostles to all the way to present day. And that's going to do it for this video. Thank you so much for watching. I pray that y'all have a blessed day, and God bless y'all. Be in peace. Bye.